Hello there. What I'm doing today is I'm putting together a few bits and pieces that I've done over the years in order to try and bring you a video showing you how to change the Hall effect sensor on the R1100 series. I think it's the same on the 1150 as well. But yeah, the R1100 and 1150 Hall effect sensor replacement. Hall effect sensor. About the only thing that stops these BMWs from working is the Hall effect sensor. The Hall effect sensor is located just behind the crankshaft pulley and can cause the engine to suddenly stop. So it's really important that you make sure that this part is in good condition before you entrust your bike for long distances. Now, with the tank removed, the wiring from the Hall effect sensor comes up here and then it goes into a plug which is normally underneath this plastic cover. Now, of course, the plastic cover gets mullered over the years, goes all hard and all that, and obviously people using them can muller it. But the important thing to remember about the Hall effect sensor is this plug. You must find out what type of plug you got. Depending on the multi-plug at the end, you can get that type of multi-plug, which is a fairly common one. But this type of multi-plug appears on some of the later ones. You have to get the right one for obvious reasons. Now, the Hall effect sensor, what does the Hall effect sensor do? Well, the Hall effect sensor lives underneath that cover there. It's not an arse to replace, but you do have to take quite a few bits off. But it provides spark for the engine, tells the motronic unit when the engine's at TDC, so therefore is an integral part of the ignition system. Once you know what one you want, you then remove this front cover. Only a few bolts, dead easy to do, just slides down out the way. Then that gives you access to the crankshaft pulley. You've got to remove the pulley. Now, obviously, the alternator belt is on there, so the best thing to do is to slacken that belt, remove the pulley. The way you remove the pulley, use a socket on the end or a spanner on the nut, and then remove that plug in the side of the engine and use a screwdriver to stop the engine turning, because that's where the ring gear is. You can use a screwdriver in that hole, stop the engine turning whilst you undo the nut. So we'll do that and see how we get on. So undo the three nuts that hold the alternator on. That one at the top, and that one over there. Just loosen them off, they don't need to be removed, and then you put a spline drive into the back of the bolt and then lift it up, and then that actually detensions the belt, and then you can easily remove the belt. When it comes to renewing, you just lift that spline drive up and then tighten it up, and job's a good one. Now, on this particular bike, because this is an early bike, this breathes through this pipe here. This is a breather. Not that a lot of the older engine, the newer engines, sorry, don't have this pipe, so this belt will come straight off. Well, on this particular bike, it won't. You've got to remove that pipe before you can remove the belt. It doesn't stop you removing the pulley to do the Hall effect sensor, but it would affect you if you wanted to remove and replace the belt. So now we're going to undo this screwdriver in the ring gear. $16mm spanner on the nut. Remove the bolt. Once the bolt's removed, the pulley comes off. Notice that inner section. The inner section of the pulley is what controls the Hall effect sensor. So don't let that go missing. There is the end of the crankshaft and the Hall effect sensor itself, located by 3 little tiny Allen bolts. Undo them. Then there's a nut here that keeps the wiring in place. Remove that, and then you can remove the Hall effect sensor. Remove the 3 bolts and the one that holds the wiring. Notice the little bracket that secures the wiring. Then release the Hall effect sensor. Follow the wiring. The wiring comes up. On this particular bike there's a clip there. Undo that clip and then feed this wiring through to remove the old unit. The old one, suitably removed. Doesn't look that bad, but you can never tell when these are going to go AWOL. And then I bought a new one, but I bought this one for a company in Greece that gives it a 4-year warranty. So I think, because I'm going to use this bike myself, I think the best thing to do is to change the Hall effect sensor so that I can guarantee virtually that it won't break down. I've cleaned all that up, look, given it a real good clean up, took the breather pipe off, cleaned it all up, just made it pretty so that when it goes all back together it can stay back together and never be a problem. All you've got to do now is just feed the wiring in, reassemble as we did when we disassembled. Make sure you put the pulley back at the right position. Notice that the pulley at the end of the crank there's a keyway that the pulley must fit into. Make sure it does, otherwise the engine won't run. That is essential. We've just fitted the Hall effect sensor. We're about to fit the pulley. This bit of the pulley must go in the keyway on the crank, and then you can fit the alternator belt as well at the same time. That's got to be fitted, bolted up and then torqued up. Then we can adjust the belt, reconnect the new Hall effect sensor into its connector, making sure the pipes are all in good condition. And then it's a matter of putting everything back together. So there you go then, that's using a bit of footage from videos that I shot a long time ago when I was doing the Hall effect sensor on the GS. I have been asked to do a video about the Hall effect replacement, so that's what I've done in order to make it a-okay for you. So hopefully you found that useful. Let me know if you need to know any more. Yeah, and take care, see you soon, and bye.